Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick, and here it comes. Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions.
You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
My approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Welcome in. This is Defeating the Curse. Stevie, welcome back. Rando midday show here for both of us. This is, I don't know. I kind of get geeked up for the midday shows. I'm wide awake. I don't have to deal with my kids going crazy. I don't have to clean the kitchen. I'm just here. My ears are kind of hot, so I'm going to lose these cans in a second. But Stevie, where have you been, man? Where have you been? Maybe unmute so everybody could hear you. We're not live or anything. Hit that mute button, baby.
You see how long it's been? I can't even get the mute button right.
Okay. It's a little embarrassing, to be honest. But welcome back. I mean, the beard is looking a little strong, little grizzly.
We're setting up for Movember.
That's interesting.
Movember's coming up. We're setting up for it. It's fall weather outside. It's beautiful out. Baseball playoffs. Redskins football team stink. Okay, fall is in the air.
Fall is in the air, but I'm surprised. Like, it's been several weeks where you've had an opportunity probably to come on here and kill this football team and opted not to do it. So don't put it on me. I know you're always like, you're leaving me off the show. I'm not leaving you off the show. You're either too busy or not interested, but I know you got some thoughts on this team. I doubt you've watched any of this. There's no chance you've been watching any of the football team. And this morning, interestingly enough, we woke up to news that Ron decided that the kicking was the biggest problem, apparently. Like, I'm not a Hopkins guy, but on the list of 10, 15 things that needed to be changed week to week or overall, I mean, I don't understand this at all.
Yeah, I mean, this is fascinating. I mean, this is a guy whose house is on fire, and he's trying to save, the lunchbox or something. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I'm starting to question Ron Rivera, okay? And I wouldn't have thought that we would have come to this place, but we are here. When you get a defensive-minded coach who comes in, brings in his staff, brings in his guys, brings in, this kind of fresh outlook year two, and they are who we thought they were, okay? We are where we are because this team has revealed who they are. I mean, I said almost 10 weeks ago now, this is a bad defense. And every single week, people say, give it a week. This is their breakout. This is this. And they'll point at one play here, one play there. And the summation of everything is this is a bad football team. This has become a bad football team.
Yes.
And quitting on Hopkins and cutting Hopkins loose.
I don't get this Hopkins thing at all. Like, the guy's 85% on the season. He's missed in the past in big moments. He's been iced and missed. Like, I'm not a Hopkins fan. I like him as a dude, and we've actually got a chance to meet him a couple times. He's a cool dude. But as a kicker, you can do better. But I don't know if you can do better 7 weeks into the season when your whole team, like you said, the building's on fire. You've got your head athletic trainer being investigated by the feds. You've got this debacle of the Sean Taylor retirement ceremony over, this past weekend, and I covered that on Monday, and I can't go back to that because, like, my wife actually came down. She had to calm me down. Like, I was livid on Sunday, and I got all worked up again on Monday when we were recording the show. So I can't go back to that either. But honestly, this morning when Ron wakes up or when he's meeting with the coaches, the kicking game can't be that high on the list of things that have to be sorted out. How is Hopkins at 85% no longer on the football team roster, but Landon Collins is still here? I don't get it.
Well, that's why I'm questioning Ron Rivera. I think this has more to do with finding a scapegoat than actually trying to fix things. And that's where I'm questioning Ron Rivera's character right now. You've been able to question defensive play calling, Jack Del Rio, Scott Turner, but one thing that's always been impeccable is Ron Rivera's character. Right now, today, October 20th, I'm going to question Ron Rivera's character and question whether or not that Washington football team disease, that corporate culture that is poisonous and disgusting and awful, has it infected Ron Rivera? Because he came in as a stand-up guy, and right now, they clearly made Dustin Hopkins to be a scapegoat for a really bad start to a bad football team that seems to be inclined to have a bad football
But what are
season.
they expecting is going to happen with Chris Blewett now on the roster? First of all, amazing name for a kicker. Amazing. The jokes the jokes write themselves. So this is the gift that keeps giving for everybody that's in the broadcast industry that has to cover this team or wants to cover this team. But that aside, Hopkins was 85% on the season. Hopkins was a known commodity. He was a all around a solid locker room guy. I understand that bring somebody in to compete with him. I get it, but you just cut a guy that he may have been an issue, but he wasn't the biggest issue, right? Like they didn't lose to Kansas City because of blown field goals, right? They almost lost to the Giants. Like it's like, what does this do for your team now?
Well, now hold on a second though. If Chris Blewett can teach Chase Young how to have some type of move to the quarterback, and he can play right tackle and right guard, and
maybe he's coming in as a hybrid, player, coach, and kicker. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe that's what they're doing. maybe that's the plan.
I mean, at this point, Chris Blewett may be able to cover someone better than St. Juste. Okay, at this point, he may be able to cover the deep ball better than Landon Collins is doing right now. I mean, this defense has problems from top to bottom. And I'm so sick and tired of I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Who said that? Was that Clinton? Was that Bernie? I think it was Bernie.
I think that's a Bernie line.
What I'm sick and tired of is hearing Chase Young every week saying, all right, doubt us. I'm gonna keep track of all these guys doubting us. I'm sick and tired of
I don't want to hear a peep out of that guy anymore.
Was it the middle linebacker who's saying, I'm taking notes of who's writing down all this stuff.
That's all Chase.
It's nonsense. And then every time I look up, he's in a Gatorade commercial with our former buddy Bryce Harper. So listen, this defense has problems top to bottom. Okay. The quarterback, I'll give a pass to Heineke. Okay. They're getting some film on him. They're figuring him out a little bit. He's regressing to the mean. But like you said,
franchise guy. He's not a franchise guy, right? I'll admit that. I'm comfortable saying that. He was never the franchise guy, right? And we talked about this. I think more than necessary. I don't know who's casually tuning into a sports show like this one. I mean, you either have a franchise quarterback in this league or you don't. And in reality, there's probably 10 teams that have one and 5 or 6 that are amazing, right? On the entire planet at this position. It is the most important position on any sport, on any team sport there is, period. And there's only so many amazing ones. Now, we happen to be facing a young one in Mahomes this past weekend, and now we get an older one, a grizzled vet who literally is screaming at fans in Chicago, I own you, right? I mean, that's who we get to play now on Sunday. Heineke was never going to be that guy, right? He was always going to be a stopgap. But I like you, I've started to question Ron, the coach. Like as a man, again, none of this is personal. But as a coach, he seems to be disconnected. As a coach, as a figurehead, as almost a mouthpiece of the team, unfortunately, he stepped into the same thing that Jay Wright stepped into with the 21 retirement, saying we didn't understand, or we underestimated that the fans wanted to be a part of it. I'm like, you underestimated the fans, like wanting to be there for probably the most revered player in the history of the team. I mean, there's only, and I said this on Monday as well, there's only been 3 retirement ceremonies for the football team ever, 3, and this one was handled so poorly. Like if there was still someone out there saying they're going to get it right, they're going to get it right. This should dispel any of that. They're never going to figure this out. As long as Snyder's involved, they will never figure this out.
No, leave Snyder alone. Can I bash Jason Wright for a second? Is he untouchable?
I don't know. No one.
Are we allowed to bash him? I don't know. I think I think there's some type of rule that Jason Wright is not allowed to be bashed.
His statement,
whether it's foolish. He's such a phony, and we know things about him that people don't know. Okay, but he's a phony. Okay, and I can't stand him. I think he's a disaster. Let me ask you a question though, Joe, just to get on a little bit better. I don't want to bash Jason Wright. What would the team's record be with Ryan Fitzpatrick right now?
That's the irony. I think it's the same. Maybe they're one win better, right?
100%.
So maybe they're one win better. I know we did our preseason. I'm always going to pick them to win close ones and whatever. But the Chargers game, they probably win. Probably. Maybe that's the one. The Atlanta game they won anyway. The New York game they won anyway. Fitzpatrick wasn't going to get them over Kansas City. It wasn't going to get him over the Bills. So I mean, you probably end up in the same spot. But I think there's a difference between being 2-4 and competitive and losing by a touchdown, a field goal, 10 points, and being terrible. Like, Fitzpatrick wasn't going to fix the defense. The defense was still going to be piss poor. This defense, like, there's something to be said about trying to build a defensive juggernaut or a defensive powerhouse team or a defensive focused team in 2021. I mean, if you watched the Chargers Browns game a couple nights ago, or Sunday last week, or this past Monday night game, the Bills and the Titans, neither defense could stop the offense. The offense is dictating. They're basically saying, you do whatever you want on defense. We're going to go get these points, and it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. And that's why. And I think McDermott made the right call on Monday night to go for it. Worst case, you're going to get it, run the clock, tie the game. No one's anticipating that you can't convert a 4th and inches. I still think it was the right call. And when we get to our power rankings, the Bills slip a little bit because they did pick up that loss, but that was the right call. The Bills are going to be fine. Bills Mafia will be fine. The team is very good. But both of those teams basically at halftime said, you know what, defensively, we can't stop either of these offensive units. It's just going to be a shootout. Most of the league buys into that same mentality. For some reason here in Washington, we're trying to build a defense to stop everybody. Right now, they can't stop anybody, and the offense can't score. The offense can't consistently get down the field and score. And FP went crazy on the, he was 100% right. 3rd down in anything, we will not convert it. It's not going to happen. It'll never happen. 3rd and 8, we run a 4-yard slant. Like, it's so frustrating. And then to hear Ron, and we always do Ron quotes on Wednesday shows, to hear Ron say, we ask Heineke to identify the defense and take what the defense is giving him. No, the whole league, nobody in the league takes what the defense gives you. You go out there and you make the defense adjust to what you want to do. Tennessee doesn't go out there and decide, they're only playing 4 in a box. We're going to run Derrick Henry. They say, no, good luck stopping this freight train. We're going to run him down your throat 20 times. And when you're tired of trying to tackle him, we're going to run him some more. This idea, this old mentality of just scheme a game plan around what the defense is giving you is so stupid. It's so flawed. But that's what this team is doing week in and week out.
It's what they have to do because they don't have Derrick Henry. It's what they have.
They had the only defense worse than Washington football team this past Sunday, or is the Kansas City Chiefs, who they faced this past Sunday. They still couldn't move the ball. So, I mean, now we're dead last, right? So now there is nothing more to say that is positive about the football team. And I'm interested to see if you've got them in your bottom 5. For me, I'm not going to bury it here. I got them just outside the top 5 just because I'm a homer and it's my team. I can't bring myself to do it yet. But Ron is the last coach in the league that's trying to build a juggernaut defense and just game manage the offense. Everyone else is out there trying to score points. Even the poopy Giants are slinging the ball all over the place to receivers we've never heard of. Only in Washington, we're running 4-yard slants, bubble screens. It's the same anemic offense that we've been watching here now basically since Kirk Cousins left.
I mean, at this point, you might as well go Gibbs 3.0, okay? when he was running off tackle 3 times a week. But, and what's funny is in this current league, I mean, the guy we're facing on Sunday kind of, mastered this principle. It's about the team who has the ball last. And it's not even just about the team who has the ball last. It's about now, I don't need more than 30 seconds to get in field goal range. I mean, Aaron Rodgers proved that over and over and over again.
Yeah, the Patriots on Sunday went 97 yards in 4 plays in under 30 seconds.
It's a new jack kind of league here. And so, you're right. This team is stuck in the dark ages, and it is going to get really ugly here over these next few weeks. When you talk about Green Bay and Tampa Bay coming in and a bye week, and the schedule is they're going to be in your bottom 5. If they're not in it today, they will be in it over the next 2 weeks.
They belong there.
They do. But the only thing I'll say to you is Taylor Heineke, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the record would be the same. On the flip side of that, if what you were saying before the season, I say you and your other schmucks that are co-hosts on the show, if you guys were true and that defense played up to par, we'd be 4-2. That's the difference. Is we would have won that Chargers game if we had superstars on that defense who could make plays and cause some turnovers and cause some havoc, we would be 4-2, and we'd be talking about if we had a mediocre defense.
Yeah, I mean,
we'd be 4-2.
If this was an average defense, meaning 15, anywhere between 12 and 17, just middle of the pack defense. Yeah,
that's the reckoning that needs to happen over these next couple of weeks. Jack Del Rio needs to be fired.
Yes.
I don't know.
Del Rio
why
losing his job should have happened before Hopkins lost his.
Absolutely.
Right? Scott
Absolutely.
Turner losing
Especially
his
with,
job should have happened before Hopkins lost his.
And let's see Ron call the defense. You're a defensive coach. Go ahead. Call the defense.
But even that sentiment, it's 2021. Teams are out there trying to score 40 points. Like you said, get the ball last and try to score to win the game. Like this defensive mindset, we're going to, like, even the good defenses, like the Rams and the Cardinals, they don't stress the defense. Like, the defense goes out there. It's I won't say it's vanilla. It's more complex than what we have here in DC, but it's all offensive focused. You've got to score points. This idea of I'm just going to stop the other team is foolish in this league. It's foolish.
This team is such a waste of space.
Look,
why are we talking about that? We got great baseball. We have the promise of a new season in the NBA, which I don't care about. I'm sure you've got soccer. I don't care about either. We've got golf and tennis.
Fire, baby. I wish if it would pull
plenty
the ratings,
we could talk about.
I would talk soccer all the time, but nobody cares about
soccer. What ratings? How many people are showing up to FedEx Field? 50,000 I saw. 50,000?
No.
That's what they claim as the attendance. And, on Nats Park nights, on big nights, you're getting 45, 48,000. So and again, how many of those were Chiefs fans? How many of those were Giants fans? How many of those were Charger fans?
Can we talk about the Chiefs doing the tomahawk chop? And like the irony behind the other Native American imagery team being okay and being allowed and coming into this building and doing the tomahawk chop. Like, no one else thought that was just a little weird. Just a little weird. I don't know. This team is
the Braves are doing it.
I don't understand what Ron is doing. We'll figure out how to bet this game on Sunday just to be interested. I don't think they'll be in it past halftime. Aaron might set a career. He might throw for 600 yards. He legitimately could throw for 600 yards.
Devontae.
If there was a bet, if there was a line, whatever the over is on Aaron Rodgers passing yards, take it, because he's going to light this team up. I mean, they can't stop anybody. And, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, you pick which one's better. The savvy vet's going to figure out how to do it. It's too potent of an offense, and our defense stinks. This is not a get right game. I'm done with all that. I'm done with it. But I am curious though. So I got the Packers in my top 5 this week. They were just outside last week. I'll give you my top 5 and give me yours, or maybe they're the same. We'll see. So at number 5, I got the Bucks. The Bucks last week had fallen out. They toyed with the Eagles on Thursday night. They look great. Tom Brady maybe looks a smidge older, but that offense has got enough pieces in it. They're going to keep rolling. They're not going to lose to the football team in a couple weeks. So I got the Bucks at 5. I got the Packers at 4. And it's same thing. Like, I called them dead and said Joe Barry was an idiot on week 1. I'm eating a lot of dog food this week. These guys are rolling. They may not lose a game for a couple more weeks, depending, the way that their schedule is stacking up. And Aaron Rodgers is rolling. And any quarterback that's going to look a fan base like Chicago literally in the eyeballs and say, I own you, I effing own you. Matt, like, he's fun to watch, man. He is must watch, even like the on-field stuff, the off-field stuff, whatever. I got the Packers at 4. I got the Cowboys at 3. Last week I had them at 4. They're moving up to 3. I think they're real. I don't know how, FP mentioned this. I don't know how anyone cheers against Dak just from a human perspective. I mean, as a team, I can't cheer for him. I want to see Dak succeed. I love the story. He's got so many offensive weapons on that roster. He's got 3 legitimate pass-catching options, plus he's got Zeke. That offensive line is just mauling people. They're a legitimate contender. They're going to run away with the NFC East. I think they're a legitimate contender in the NFC, and I think they can beat the Bucs, even though they lost to them on opening night. That was a really close game, and I think if they were meeting this week, I would pick the Cowboys to beat the Bucs. Number 2, I got the Bills. I had them at number 1 last week, even though the Cardinals remain undefeated, so obviously the Cardinals are my number 1. I got the Bills at number 2. The loss obviously is going to hurt. They hung in there with a quality team in Tennessee. Josh Allen is a baller. That team can run the ball, and most importantly for me, that defense can do enough to keep the offense basically in any game. Emmanuel Sanders is, I mean, I don't know. He looks like he's 10 years younger in Buffalo for some reason. So we'll see what happens when the weather changes and things, maybe, when they become more of a running game, or a running team. But the Bills are sitting at number 2, and then the Cardinals are number 1. No head coach, no problem. They just keep rolling through people. I think they're going to be undefeated. They may get to 8 or 9-0 before they're really tested based on how their schedule is stacked up as well. Their division games, they've handled business pretty much against anybody. Really hasn't been any close games. I mean, 1 or 2 were a little bit close heading into the 4th, but overall, Cardinals look really good. The Bills look really good. The Cowboys are my surprise. I didn't have them anywhere near the top 10, top 5. They look like a complete team. That defense is balling out too. Just a good-looking, well-built team, and it's arguably the best one in Dallas since, I don't know, early 2000s. So that's my top 5: Bucks, Packers, Cowboys, Bills, Cardinals at 1. Who do you got?
Okay, I think it's similar. I got the Pack at 5, and I think they're on a roll. I mean, I think back to week 1, they lost by 35, I believe, to the
Saints in Jacksonville.
Okay.
Yes,
right, in Jacksonville to Jameis. So that looks like a totally different team right now, and I think Aaron Rodgers is hot. They're going to stay hot, and that's my number 5. Number 4, I have the Cowboys. I think, like you said, they are putting together. They are what looks like the most complete team potentially in the NFC outside of the Cardinals right now. I mean, I think, their offensive line is so good. I don't want to take anything away from Dak, but that offensive line it doesn't matter if Zeke's back there. It doesn't matter if the other running back's back there. I mean, they are protecting, they're running the ball really well. So I give them that number 4. Number 3, I got the Ravens. I don't think you had the Ravens in there. I didn't watch a lot of football, but what they did to the Chargers on Sunday, 28-point blowout, they look like the team to beat in the AFC. So I'm high on the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson's special. I think they rise to the level of team they're playing against, and I think they're going to step it up. 2 and 1, I think I had the same as you. Buffalo, even though they lost, still look really, really good. Credible ceiling for this team. They're going to have it, they're going to be there the whole year. And then Arizona right now has the MVP in Kyler Murray. So I think, they look like the most complete team in the NFC between them and the Cowboys. So
they do. I mean, they do. They can run the ball. They obviously can throw the ball pretty much anywhere. They've got AJ Green. Looks like he's AJ Green from 7 or 8 seasons ago. I mean, he looks fresh all the time. Whenever he's on the field, he's being targeted. They're resting him between like every other series. Like he just looks good. He just looks good, and that offense seems to be clicking. To answer your question, yeah, I have the Ravens, Rams, and Chargers all just outside of my top 5. Ravens, I'm not fully like Lamar is must watch. The defense is good. The running game is just, it's a very unique offense that they're running there. Like they don't have a stud number 1 receiver or number 2. It's just, it's what their offense is what Washington would like dream to be, basically. I mean, yes, Washington has McLaurin. Lamar carries that team. And I was just wrong on him. I mean, he's able to get it done every week, regardless of what. If they put 8 in front of him, he's going to just dink and dunk them, the defense to death. If he's got 4 or 3 down linemen, he's going to run right through you. So it's just very interesting to see how Baltimore continues to be competitive, continues to build around him in the center of that. The Rams look great too. I mean, the Rams, yes, they're going to lose some of these games like they did this week. They're going to drop some. But they're going to be there at the end, I do believe. I think they're going to – I don't know if they're going to be able to catch Arizona the way Arizona's playing right now as far as the division goes. But they are a really good team. I mean, they've got a good coach, great coach, potentially. McVay's a great coach. They've got – Stafford is balling out. Stafford's got weapons all over the place offensively, and the defense can hold their own too. And then finally the Chargers, that was probably my one disappointing team. I had them at 5 last week, if I'm not mistaken. They just looked really bad against the Ravens. I think they'll bounce back. And again, I feel like for the duration of Justin Herbert's career, we here in DC are going to look at him and think that could have been our guy, right? And to be fair, most people had Tua over Justin anyway. So if Washington was going to pick a quarterback, it probably would have been Tua. But man, Justin, The Chargers go from Drew Brees to Phillip Rivers to Justin Herbert. They will be competitive. They will be they will not need to address that position for the next 7 to 10 years. Whereas Washington and most of the league needs to adopt the Clay Travis model of drafting a quarterback every single draft. Use every single draft. You've got to identify 5 or 6 guys you like, and you've got to roll the dice and draft them, because it's literally the lottery. When you have a franchise quarterback, you are winning the lottery.
Well,
if you have one, you are going to be on a different trajectory than when you don't.
The greatest example of that was going from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. I mean, they went from Hall of Famer, they tanked for a year, and then got another guy who obviously retired early.
I mean, look at Green Bay right now. Green Bay went from Favre to Rodgers, and they got their guy, they think, right behind him. I'm blanking on his name right now, but I mean,
Jordan Love.
Yeah. So that's what you do, right? I mean, Aaron was pissed about it, but this is what the good franchises do. It's interesting. Let's see what the Patriots end up doing, right? Belichick went and grabbed Cam Newton, said, I'm going to use you for a year. I don't expect much out of you. Cut him as if he was nothing. He hasn't been claimed anyway. So again, Belichick was right. And now, Mac Jones could be the guy. I mean, he's moving the offense, right? I mean, they got to get pieces around him, but you look at him, would you rather have Mac Jones on your roster right now if you're the football team, or this collection of Fitzpatrick, Heineke, and whoever is going to be here next year, right? Some of that is just you take the known commodity. Some of these quarterbacks aren't going to pan out, but if you're a team like the football team, you haven't had a franchise guy ever, really, in our lifetime. Rippon is the closest thing to it. You've got to draft a quarterback every year.
Well, let's not forget we had Brad Johnson.
We did have Brad Johnson for 2 seasons. We made the playoffs. Sure. We had RG3 and we thought he was going to be the answer, but by the end of the 12th season, he was broken. And then we had Kirk, but because they never actually gave him a contract, you could never build around him. Bruce Allen completely trashed that opportunity. Like, say what you will about Kirk Cousins. I mentioned this the other day. I put it in our chat, our WhatsApp chat as well. Kirk just eclipsed 30,000 career passing yards, right? He's the 50th quarterback ever to do it. If he's still here, you're in a better position than if he's not.
We're 4-2.
Fine, but you're not. But week in and week out, we're not arguing and complaining about the.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is you're on your way to a 10-win season if Kirk Cousins is here in Washington.
And I would argue
with this crappy defense.
Well. This is a little bit of revisionist history here, but if Kirk is the quarterback of last year's team, and we're not doing this Haskins experiment nonsense, they're better than a 7-win team because that defense was good against terrible quarterbacks, right? And that was your point. That team probably would have been in a better position. Maybe they still lose to the Bucs. We'll never know. But Kirk on the roster for the past 7 seasons under contract, not year to year, allows whoever's in charge, whether it's Bruce or Ron or whoever, to address all of the other holes. Like if you tell me today you could have Kirk Cousins with 1 more year on his contract and this defense, which you drafted anyway, with these offensive weapons that you've got now, that's a better situation. But we don't have that. We let him walk. And when he was here, Bruce kept doing the 1-year thing. You couldn't really
paid him a boatload.
Right?
Yeah, but we still paid him a boatload too, so they lost both ways.
Well,
this team
he's going to be a free agent after this season, right? His 3 years in Minnesota will be done.
It is so nice to have my Sundays back to myself and not have to watch this team, okay? Everyone should stop watching this team. Everyone should stop going to FedEx. Everyone should stop buying merchandise.
That's the only way that things will change.
Enjoy your Sundays. Either watch someone else's football team or spend time with your kids, not your wife, I know.
I'm gonna give you my bottom 5, and then we'll move off this topic. I want to get to baseball real quick too. All right, bottom 5. I got in no specific order. I got the Jags, Lions, Jets, Texans, and just outside the Washington football team. When they lose this week, assuming any of the teams I just mentioned win a game, I will have the WFT in my bottom 5 next week.
Yeah, I would put them in there now. I mean, I can even get the Jets out just because the Jets are more exciting and look like they're trending upwards with Zach Wilson. So, yeah, I got the same teams. They all suck. I mean, you could add in the Falcons, throw in,
Dolphins maybe.
Dolphins
lost to the Jags. I mean, these teams are bad, and it sucks that we're sitting here talking about the football team being associated with them, but They belong in the bottom 5-6 teams. The football team is just not a good team. It's just not a good team.
It's more than not good. We're not entertaining. See, now there were certain teams that weren't good, but were at least entertaining. Okay, I appreciated those teams because they keep my attention for 3 hours on a Sunday. The football team is not either of those, and it goes back to your 3rd and 8s running 4-yard slants. It's a bad team in every sense of the word.
Yeah, and Ron today is addressing the kicker. I mean, I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. I want to switch gears, though. Let's get off of this. I mean, there's no chance you have them beating the Packers, right? Can we just do that quickly? Stevie, who you got on Sunday?
No, come on. What kind of stupid?
Good. So we both got the Packers. Let's just move on. I want to talk about something more exciting. So I know you don't care about the NBA. I do like the NBA. I enjoy basketball, okay? I do. It was a little uneventful yesterday, opening night. The Wizards will open up later this week. But I want to talk about baseball. And specifically, I kind of wish Razzle was here because yesterday he was like, boys, I'm putting in the baseball sweats for the night. And I said, Razzle, please, put the mortgage, put the house, put every penny in our shared account, in our shared, betting account, put it all on the Dodgers. He did not do that. And halfway through the game yesterday, you guys were both killing me. Oh, they're dead in the water. Atlanta's got this, blah, blah, blah. Baseball Matt was saying the same thing in the side chat. The Dodgers came back in very dramatic fashion, and they look good doing it. Stevie, the Dodgers will beat the Braves in this series, right?
No. Now there were 2 teams yesterday that had epic comebacks. The Astros and the Dodgers. One of them, I believe, made it a series. Well, we know one of them cheats, but one of them turned, one of them saved their season and turned it into a series. And it was not the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers right now, they just delayed. The Braves have them exactly where they want them to be. All those arms are exhausted. They got a bullpen game coming up either today or tomorrow. Scherzer pitching, scheduled to pitch Friday. Scherzer looks like he's done.
Don't.
I will. Because you know what? Everyone is seeing what I've seen for several years, which is he's not an elite pitcher anymore. And that's my
inner Rizzo right now. This is Rizzo's.
Well, I see what Rizzo saw, okay, and I think maybe Rizzo got it from me, but the one who's shocking me right now is Trey Turner is really having a tough time at the plate. And I don't know what's going on, but he's hitting into double plays. He is not seeing the ball. He's popping it up. He's getting under the ball. He had that infield single yesterday, which of course, with his speed, but really surprised to see that. But that's the whole Dodgers team outside of that Bellinger home run, which was epic. I mean, he took a fastball probably chin high and hit it about 450 feet to save their season. I mean, but can we just talk about this playoffs in general? I mean, Joe, you're more than a casual fan, but less than an avid fan. I mean, how fun are these baseball games? I mean, I don't know what they compare to, but it's just awesome to watch. It's awesome to see the fans. It's awesome to see that energy. And they're excited.
You're right. These are like basketball has series. Like every sport for the most part, with the exception of football, has your playoffs are a series of games. The thing that I love about baseball is that the series is continuous. It's every day, right? The same teams we saw play yesterday, they're playing today. And this is something that I'm learning over the years. Really, a couple years ago when the Nats were competing at this time of year, I was paying more attention. You and Matt were kind of coaching me through it all, and I was learning the strategy behind it. There is so much that's happening in a 24-hour period between, not even 18-hour period, as one game is ending and you're already planning for the next one. You mentioned bullpen game. There's so much strategy that goes into it, and it's every day, right? It's every single day. With the NBA, you got to wait. Usually it's a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday thing, or sometimes it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing, like early in the playoffs, and then they start padding the schedule to account for TV and whatever. Baseball doesn't do that, and I love that. The only thing I wish baseball would do differently is move the games earlier so that my kids can stay up and watch it, so people can go, during the day, especially like this time of year. Like it's fall, people want to be outside, whatever. I understand TV ratings and blah, 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 but there's enough teams playing and there's enough games it would be nice to see some of these games a little bit earlier in the day. Yesterday we got two, one early and one late. It was perfect. Like
today you got a 5:00 game.
Exactly. So like those things are great, and it's important for the younger generations of fans to be able to attend these things in person, or at least stay up, like come home from school excited and turn it on and watch it, because everyone else, otherwise you're just watching game recaps on Google or YouTube or whatever, right? So that's what I love about the baseball playoffs. I'll tell you, and this isn't really a hot take, but to me they compare it to Champions League soccer. And I know no one cares about soccer, but the thing about Champions League is you're going to see the you're going to face an opponent, you're going to play them home and away. It's going to be spaced out a week, but there's so much energy for that game. There's so much buildup. The fans travel from one city to another, all across Europe to do it. There's just something about Champions League that, to me, and I know it's a little weird for people that maybe don't follow soccer, international soccer in particular. There's just something about how that tournament is set up that, to me, feels a little bit like the baseball playoffs. The baseball playoffs are, they're quickly becoming one of my favorite 3, 4, 5 week stretches of the entire sporting calendar, because they come at a time as hockey is back and we're watching the Caps, and the Caps are doing some good things here in DC. The Wizards are going to be taking the court as well. The NBA is back. Football's, a quarter of the way, a little bit past a quarter of the way through the season, almost closing in on half. This is a great time of year for sports. The baseball playoffs just amplify all of that, right? And for me, again, casual, less than avid, more than casual fan, I'm still cheering for the guys and the names that I know and that I care about. I will never cheer for the Astros, right? So seeing that series, that was an interesting series last night too. You mentioned it. The Red Sox seemed like they never seemed dead, right? The Dodgers seemed dead and then were able to come back. The Red Sox never seemed to actually be not able to compete. I ultimately think the Astros are going to get past them, but I'm curious what your take is on that series in particular. It's not like we're split on the Braves and the Dodgers. Who do you actually seeing coming out of the on the other side? I just like the Red Sox. It's just something about that team.
Well, the Red Sox offense right now, when you got back-to-back grand slams in 2 consecutive innings in Game 3, their offense is clicking in every way possible. JD Martinez, Bogarts, Renfroe, all these guys are just Kyle Schwarber, of course. Their offense right now is carrying them through. They're not even making it close in those first couple of games. They had a chance to go up 3-1 yesterday. They, in the 8th inning, again, you go back to that strategy. You have 6 outs to be up 3-1. Mm-hmm. You bring in Nathan Eovaldi, your starter, your ace, to come in and get at least 3 outs. It looked like he could have gone 2 innings on a bullpen day. And he gives up the double to Correa, walks I can't remember who. I think it was Kyle Tucker, and then gives up the big single to I think Josh Reddick. And so you went from 6 outs away from 3-1 to 2-2, and you've used Eovaldi for about 30 pitches. So now where does that leave you? If your offense is not clicking the way it was, they weren't able to kind of come back. And so, I think the Astros are the better team and the more experienced team, and now have the better arms in the bullpen and rested for the next couple games.
You're not cheering for the Astros.
No, nobody cheers for the Astros. Okay, not even Houston people, but nobody cheers for the Astros.
No one in baseball. No one outside of Houston cheers for the Astros.
No, Carlos Correa's mother doesn't cheer for Carlos Correa. Okay, he's a terrible person.
What about Dusty?
Oh, you gotta love Dusty though. You gotta love Dusty.
He was doing a strut out there yesterday.
Yeah, Dusty's cool.
I missed that strut.
Dusty's cool, but he's tied himself to the devil kind of. So I do think the Astros are going to be okay. I think the Braves still have their aces coming up. So Charlie Morton pitched yesterday. I think Max Fried is on the books for tonight. Max Fried has been untouchable this postseason. So they're still up 2-1. They can get a win tonight. They go up 3-1. They still got Dodgers have another bullpen day potentially tomorrow. Yeah. Because Max and Urias have had to pitch all these different relief efforts. It was like us in 2019. If we go back, I know we're not talking about 2019, but what we did in 2019, we had no bullpen. We didn't trust anyone. It was Scherzer would hand the ball to Strasburg, would hand the ball to Corbin, would hand the ball to Anibal Sanchez, and back. I mean, it was crazy. He had Corbin pitching, 6th, 7th, and 8th inning after 2 days. After 2 days after starting. It's incredible what Strasburg did. I mean, all these guys. So,
Stevie, do you think the weather factors in, though? Do you think the weather truly factors in? Like, LA is a much more mild climate, right? In DC, it's cold. Like at night, it's cooler, right? I mean, does the weather actually factor in? Atlanta's a warm city too.
Yeah, but wait a second. It's been cold in these games. I think I'm sorry. Trey Turner hit a ball, and they were down 1, and he hit a ball top of the 9th that hit the warning track. At any other time outside of October 18th or whenever that game was, that's a home run. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I mean, the weather does play a factor, and it's only going to get colder. And it's cold in LA. I mean, you've been in LA plenty of times. You hit 7, 8 p.m. and that sun goes down. It's chilly.
Is it cold, Steve? Really?
Well, we both can agree LA is a dump anyway. So that's what we both can agree on. Okay. California is a hellhole right now, but
good food. I mean, I was there recently. I had the pleasure of In-N-Out, and I will tell you, I don't remember it. I remember it very differently. I think our buddy Pete is right. I think it's Five Guys is a superior burger. It really is. It really is.
No, I'll take Shake Shack over Five Guys.
You take it over In-N-Out? There's something wrong with the whole, like, maybe just because look at my body. Like, I'm all about the animal style, but it just doesn't sit right anymore. It's too heavy. The burger's too small. There's no bacon, which is Peter's whole bit, right? Like, how can you be a burger spot without bacon?
You used to, I just passed by Foster's. You used to get me on Foster's.
Well, yeah. Hey, I'm a sucker for flame grilled anything, right? I love Foster's. Where were you that you saw Foster's?
I was at the Petco in Vienna, getting my dog groomed.
Yo, give them a call. See if they want to sponsor the show. We're probably the only 2 people that will ever talk about Foster's on the radio or on podcast airwaves or whatever. Okay, well, so I'm gonna reach out to Joe at some point tonight and tell him to put money on the Dodgers on my behalf. I just feel like they're going to win tonight too. It doesn't seem like you're with me on this though.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'll tell you. Let me see the pitching matchup. Because if Max Fried's pitching, you got the Braves have not decided. Julio Urias is pitching. I don't know if he's going to get through 5. I mean, he pitched relief, I believe, 2 nights ago. So, I mean, right now they're struggling and they're just trying to put together these innings. Props to Dave Roberts for trying to piece it all together. But outside of Walker Buehler, they have no one that they really trust to get them through longer than 5 innings. Max has proven he can't get through 5 innings anymore.
You're such a Rizzo fanatic.
Okay. Talk to me about the Washington football team defense again. Yeah, let's see how right you were about that.
Well, they addressed their biggest problem, which was kicking. So, they should win. They should be able to beat the Packers now because the kicking woes have been solved. So, if the Washington football team and the Packers agree that the offenses will purposely not go closer than the 30-yard line and only kick field goals, we might have a chance. We might have a chance. But I don't know what the hell Ron is doing, and I don't know what's going on, man. Honestly, and there's something to be said about quality of life when you don't have to watch this team in real time. It's comfortable sometimes to be able to skip 30 seconds at a time and just get through it. So that we do this show.
We watch enough. We know what's going on.
Exactly.
We know.
That's what we're going to call this episode. We've seen enough. Right? Yeah. We've seen enough. FP titled the last one Third and Less because no matter what it is, we're not going to convert. This one, we already know. Stevie, thank you for making some time. Midday show. I got to be honest, Stevie.
I like
the middays.
I like it.
I like the middays.
Makes me feel like Grant and Danny.
Maybe one day we can maybe one day we'll be there. The Joe and Stevie drive home show. Who knows? We could even potentially fire these up and do this every day. I would love to. You know how I feel about this gig. I truly enjoy it. But midday shows, a little bit of energy. There's a little bit of sunlight coming through. It's just, it's just nice. It's nice. So I appreciate you making time. We covered a lot of topics. We're going to get this cleaned up and posted. Thank you, everyone who watched live, who tuned in. We really appreciate you. The show is available on all platforms, on all social media platforms, and all podcast platforms as well. Just search Defeating the Curse or DTC. We appreciate you very much. For Stevie, my name is Joe. Until next time, we're out.